Greetings everyone, this is Connor from DagoraC TV, and in this video we are discussing the possibility that the Division could fail. Okay, so before we get into it, I just want to say that these are the reasons of how I think that the game could fail. I'm not saying that the game is definitely going to fail, I'm not saying that I want the game to fail, I actually really want the game to succeed. It's just these are a few concerns that I have about Tom Clancy's The Division, and I just really want to get them out there. Okay, so before I think I'll set the ground, The Division is being made by three teams at Ubisoft. Ubisoft Massive, Ubisoft Reflections, and Ubisoft Redfall. The game is obviously being published by Ubisoft, and really the game has been pushed back quite a lot of times, and that's kind of how it's been known as in the gaming industry at this moment in time, really the game that keeps on getting pushed back. The game looks worse every time we see it. The game has been heavily downgraded on every presentation that we have seen. The game does look worse and worse. From that first one when we see, the bullets going into the glass the way it does, the way that the snow goes down, the way that the snowdrop engine is used, and now that we're seeing it, and really you can make an assumption that it's been downgraded to kind of accommodate these newer consoles. And with all the delays that the game has had, we feel that the game should be able to get to that point that it had a few years ago at E3 2013. But from that original presentation, we're going to have to be disappointed. And I swear this game's come out 5 times already. All the pushbacks makes you wonder how the game is going to change from its previous presentations. With all the stuff that's been cut out, the features and everything, I also think that graphically this game is nowhere near as good as what people expected it to be. I mean, look at the Xbox One footage that we're seeing now from the beta that would just happen over this weekend, and quite a lot of hype has happened over this beta weekend. It's kind of reformed this hype because it kind of died down, but I still have this worry that graphically it's not going to be nowhere near as satisfying as it was, and mechanically speaking I don't think it will be either, because if they're having to cut down all these graphical features, just think of how much they're going to have to scale back some of the features that they plan to put in the first place, and scaling things back is not good for someone who wants to have this satisfying experience. The game has cut back on several features of what it was announced to be launching with. One of the things advertised in its original presentation was to have this global trading system in the social zones, and it's cut back this system. MMO style games have fallen off the radar because they did not launch with an economy. Look at Star Wars The Old Republic, without its galactic auction house system, and ESO with its guild stores. Both of them didn't really have an economy, and both of them kind of failed from the first day because a lot of people left them because there's no one there to play the market. Because in MMO style games, a lot of people like to go in, buy loads of stuff, play the market and make a lot of money and pretend they're on Wall Street. That's how people have the fun. A lot of people do anyway, not everyone. And some people were planning on doing this with The Division, finding this rare loot and selling it, finding this items that could be made into scopes and crafting them and being able to sell them for a higher profit. And cutting this back is really bumping against a large player audience, because a lot of people like to do this in MMO style games, especially on the PC gaming market. Plus, let's not forget that the whole zone of Brooklyn has been delayed, even though the original game demos were actually inside Brooklyn, so it's not being selling towards what was actually originally advertised. All of these delays and they're still not being able to get into the zone where the original demo was makes you wonder of how the game is actually going to turn out, and really it's not for the better. Maybe they're holding back Brooklyn to put it into some sort of expansion or have it as free DLC a few months down the line, but not putting it in at launch really is putting it as a risk of cutting down the amount of content that people get to have. Because in these kind of MMO style games, a lot of people get to max level really quickly, and not having that amount of not much content there when they get to the end, they're just going to drop off and go to another game. Okay, so is this game a co-op RPG or is it an MMO? It seems that the game is stuck in this really weird in-between, as a lot of people have this idea and they're going to be going into this game, grouping up with a lot of people and going into a guild like an MMO in these social zones, but the developers of the game are not calling it an MMO, they're calling it a kind of open world co-op RPG. But the game also has open world PvP, which is also another form of an MMO trait, as I'll tell you the 3 zones that they've got in the game at this moment in time. They have the social zones, which are these places which were originally meant to be go to trade, but they're really places, to kind of get equipment. These are kind of save zones in a way. Meet a few players, communicate with a lot of people with emotes and things like that. And also it has these dark zones, which are the open world style PvP, where you're kind of always looking around your back, always looking around your corner, trying to find the loot and everything. And then you also have these story zones, which is basically you and a few friends kind of go in and do the co-op of the story missions. The game is really at risk of being stuck in this really weird place of, wanting to go into these story zones with a real big group of people like a guild and not being able to do so. Or really, the game is also being advertised as this kind of experience where there's a couple of you, going around in these dark zones trying to get a few kills, but you can always get that possibility in your head of, is there going to be these huge guilds, getting together and, trying to dominate the dark zones? And although that does sound cool, it could really be annoying as a one player trying to just run around and get some loot and be hunted down by a guild. Destiny was at this really weird in-between when it launched, and that really didn't go down well for a lot of people, as a lot of people were expecting different things, and that's kind of what's happening right now. And with the game being stuck at the weird place, it is a worry, and it could either go right or wrong, but history tells us that it's gone more likely to go wrong than right. Okay, so I think it's safe to say that looking at the story for The Division in the beta is not the best. Looking at the cutscenes that I saw last night on 4Strategy Gaming's livestream, the story is nowhere near as up to par as what people were expecting it to be. The developers were advertising this near futuristic, apocalyptic world, and it does look dull for a lot of people, especially the game having RPG elements that people really want to go and delve into this big open story. This is really a big risk for me because if the game is at risk of becoming a drag, and in a game that is really this kind of big open world near future kind of style game, I really want there to be the story there for me to get into when either I'm on my own or just with the odd friend. Not having that is something to me that is going to be kind of boring to play through and something that I'd probably be more likely to drop off. And it was something that was kind of advertised as being really entertaining and fun, but now we're really seeing tiny bits of the story. The most stuff we're seeing is about this dark zones. So with the game kind of going all out PvP as it seems, it does leave a worry for people like me who prefer playing that kind of co-op experience game, which is in these kind of MMO style games. And for a lot of people, yes, that's fun, but I don't see why people want to play this kind of open world style PvP compared to something like Call of Duty. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching the video. Again, I did say that I do not want the game to fail. I really want it to succeed. I'm kind of excited to get my hands on it, but I do not want... I have got some really big worries with this game, and I've just released them to you right now, and I really hope that I'm wrong with these scenarios, but only time will tell of how correct I can be. I really want to thank all my fans and everything that have been able to get me this brand new Blue Yeti mic, which you'll be able to see on screen right now, which I was able to pay through donations. And if you really want to become a sponsor for the DagoraC TV, you can click the links for the Patreon or PayPal links in the description below. Any amount is appreciated, and as you can see, all money does go back into the channel itself, and none of it goes into my back pocket. So I really do appreciate it if any of you do decide to donate. Also, make sure you subscribe because I've got a lot of Middle-earth lore videos coming out, and also Elder Scrolls 6 videos coming out as well. Plus, if you want to subscribe to the Division, there's going to be more Division videos coming out as well in the coming weeks. Plus, also, leave your comments below on what you think about the Division. Do you think it's going to fail? Do you think it's going to succeed? I really want to read your comments. And also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at DagoraC. So thanks a lot for watching, and subscribe.